Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Community Reads. I'm your host, KaijuX, and with me today, I have GVR, Joe Mama, Nagoda, and Ultimate Ditto. And today, we'll be reviewing today's match, Match 166, Bagan versus Hedorah, written by Christian Zatkoff. Who made the banner for this one again?
Oh my gosh.
That's you.
Your mother.
Tyler Treeshaw. No.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
How
Tyler
was
made
that?
Are you sure?
Yes. I just looked at the
How do you know?
statistics thread. He's there.
I figured, but I don't believe it.
It's so
Wow.
weird. But
Yeah, it's that little known banner creator and writer Tyler Trishock. But he never went
Can't be a
anywhere.
gray shot
after
banner. There's no painting appearance everywhere.
I realize how bad that sounds for me to sound incredulous, which is like, this looks like Stephanie Hughes' banner.
yeah, it's actually pretty good. It's so weird to think that this is a gray shot one, but well, this is him. I didn't think it was like, oh, like do we?
Like, he makes good banners, but it just doesn't look like a banner he would do.
right. But surprise, surprise, he did. Okay. Bagan roared up at the blood-red sky. Oh, immediately the banner gets it wrong. Gosh darn it. Anyway.
Okay, so yeah, Gray Shot did make it.
The city
Hey,
of
fuck this match.
The city of Shanghai was on fire. After regenerating from his last bloody fight, he swam from last bloody fight. He swam from Japan to China, his homeland and birthplace. He would kill everything. He will find the ones who killed him before. The world would burn in an inferno of hate. Bagan heard a strange noise. It was nighttime, and the city was covered in heavy smog. So despite the fires, he had a hard time locating the source. When he realized the sound was coming from the bay, he turned his head just in time to see the surface bubbling. Earlier, he had sunk an oil tanker with his plasma beam, causing the bay to not only be filled with oil, but also light the waters on fire. Suddenly, a large disc-like object flew out of the water. A strange, pulsing noise was heard as he watched the thing fly over people while spewing out a toxic cloud that made them fall over dead, melting into nothing but bones. Oh, wrong sentence. But that's just me. Clown. The UFO landed and transformed into its final form. Hedorah stood up and held out its arms, gurgling. All the smog in the area was sucked into his body in mere seconds. Bagan formed his hands into fists and cracked his knuckles. Hedorah fired twin jagged red beams. They merely missed and hit the building next to him. Bagan couldn't believe he could miss him when he was this close. Its aim was almost as bad as its smell. But Hedorah didn't miss insult to Hedorah. But
Hedorah didn't left, sad.
I can't help it. It's not his fault the seas are polluted that badly.
Roasted him worse than the end of Godzilla vs. Hedorah.
But we'll Bagan counter it with the Ultraman song. But Hedorah didn't miss, as Bagan would soon learn the hard way. Bagan had been smoked hundreds of times before, so it was a shock for the demon when this particular cloud caused his lungs to burn, his eyes to water, and his skin to itch. He coughed and sneezed. Hedorah shot more beams, which hit the same building again. Bagan held his breath, only to have the skyscraper fall on him. Hedorah laughed. He learned that was a big mistake. Pass.
Yes. Yeah, the Bagan exploded out of the rubble and charged Hedorah. Before the smog monster could even blink, Bagan slammed his fist right into his face. Hedorah went flying several hundred meters before splattering into a large building that collapsed from his weight and the force of the impact. Hedorah lay there blinking as he stared into the sky. He was in shock. Monsters have punched him before and it never hurt, unless he gets something vital such as his eyes. But Bagan punched so hard, he not only felt the shock from it, he went flying as well. The shock from the blow was so intense that it actually hurt. Super Smash Bros. Hit him with the smash attack.
Yeah.
Hedorah transformed into his flying form and unleashed a toxic cloud that covered the area in minutes. Bagan was too busy looking at his fist to notice this. Being a creature that can regenerate from even the worst of injuries, he was confused at the fact that not only did his fist still hurt, but it was healing slower than it normally did. He didn't know what this thing was made out of, but it burned to touch it. He made a mental note of that, choosing not to grapple with him unless he felt he truly needed to. Bagan began to choke as soon as the smog monster flew past him. His pain was unbearable. Hedorah circled around and blasted Bagan with a barrage of his eye beams, causing the demon to fall to the ground and let out a roar of rage and pain. He has fought.
Has fought, indeed. Right now, he has fought them.
Entire armies of monsters, gods, robots, mutants, aliens, guardians, other things that were in match 51 and 56.
Yeah.
Because we literally could not have a Bagan match that wasn't connected to that trilogy for years.
Yep, pretty much.
He has fought the so-called King of Monsters and several of his clones and the so-called Destroyer of Worlds. Which one? There was 3 of them the last match.
Oh, yeah.
It took all of them to kill him. Twice. No, if they killed you, you'd be dead.
People die if they are killed.
Yeah.
Death was greatly exaggerated.
Death makes you die.
How was this one creature already sending him crashing into the ground? Wasn't Hedorah in 56?
No.
No.
No, he wasn't.
Dang.
That was no.
You think he would have, but...
Hedorah.
Yeah, Hedorah was in 56, not Hedorah.
Yeah. We need Hedorah versus Hedorah, that too, but also Hedorah versus Hedorah.
Yeah.
How was the wing-like protrusions on his back lit up as lighting danced on them. Lighting. Christmas lighting.
The Christmas Bagan.
Yeah. The wing-like protrusions on his back lit up as lighting danced on them. And then tendrils burst out. He summoned his wings of light. Wait a minute, wrong match.
Yeah. Spoilers.
Bagan opened his maw and shot his plasma beam. The beam and lighting on his back started off as a blue and white, but soon turned into a pure blinding white. Hedorah dodged the beam, but Bagan refused to be denied. Still pouring the beam out of his mouth, he readjusted his beam and hit 2 buildings before hitting Hedorah. After being sent soaring a few miles away, Hedorah crashed into the ground hard. Bagan rose back to his feet. He needed to find Hedorah before Hedorah found him. Hold on, sorry.
You're right.
Give me a second.
Bruh.
The case of the bro moment.
Where was I? Was that it? He needed to find Hedorah before Hedorah found him?
Yeah, back in his final form.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Back in his final form, Hedorah got to his feet and turned around to see that even buildings that were not hit were on fire. That were not hit were on fire simply from the heat the plasma generated in the air nearby. Burning monster vs. Godzilla?
Yeah.
His skin was burning. He felt like lava. Where was Bagan? As if to answer his question, the ground shook as Bagan slowly lumbered towards him. Wings up, Bagan's back lit up again. Bagan didn't open his mouth. Confused by this, Hedorah tilted his head, wondering why. Then he sensed something and looked up into the sky. Giant diamonds made out of energy. Hundreds of thousands of them. What?
Holy. I mean, I know that was a match 56 thing, but still.
That's a bit much. That's like the whole sky is white.
Yeah. Ooh.
The whole...
Gilgamesh from Fate head ass.
No kidding.
As if aware of him spotting them, they rained down upon him. Entire city blocks exploded as if hit by an air raid. Hedorah screeched out as the burning hot energy kept slicing into his body and scorched him. And then he passed away. He's dead.
End of match, winner Bagan.
By the time it was over, Hedorah had steam rising from his body. He saw dried chunks of himself falling away. Bagan watched as one chunk fell into a puddle. As soon as it was regenerated, it took a life of its own and flowed back to its owner. Smog Monster was not happy about this at all. Bagan charged another blast when a blob of sludge fired from Hedorah itself hit Bagan right in the face, who fell over and hit everything with his beam but Hedorah. Hedorah moved towards him and body slammed him. Bagan was many times larger and heavier, but when one was blind, he was easily caught off guard. He fell right into a huge hole that his diamond storm attack had caused earlier.
What?
Yeah, I
They
wish,
held
that
Hedorah.
That's true enough.
I wish this had been established properly. It's like, okay, we got hundreds of thousands of diamond storms. Where are the craters? How big was it? How did Hedorah live?
Why was he hitting the ground behind him?
Yeah.
Bacon's vision was blurred, but he could see enough to know Hedorah was standing right on the edge of the pit. What was he doing? Bacon felt something cold and wet splatter on him. Hedorah was taking a shit on him. What started off as a cry of... Oh.
No, go
What
ahead.
started off as a cry of disgust quickly turned to a howl of pain as large amounts of shit Hedorah was dumping began to burn him. Bagan struggled to climb out of the pit. It was rather difficult as his grip kept slipping. Eventually, he managed to climb out. Red, jagged beams hit his back and legs. Even when the beams seized, it still burned. Hedorah made that disgusting noise again. That Bagan swore sounded like a mocking laugh. Or farting.
Both.
When he turned around, Hedorah flew by him while unleashing sulfuric acid and shooting more of his eye lasers. Bagan screamed out again. His armor-like plating had fallen away. The acidic attacks had finally become too much. Bagan felt his armor slide off. He refused to let this thing... I lose to this thing. Hedorah landed in front of him, transforming again. Bagan saw something flash before his eyes. Was that a memory? Bagan never left Earth. How could he remember killing life on other planets? Was that King Hedorah's memory? Legend had it that Bagan was already a powerful creature. A super monster, in fact. Seeking to make it the ultimate anti-kaiju weapon. A bioweapon. Humans supposedly fused the cells of two already highly powerful super monsters, King Hedorah and Godzilla, and made Bagan into what he is today. Their idea was to make the most powerful monster and have it kill all the others. At least that's how the story goes. Yes.
That still doesn't, like, I know Match 56 suggests, or Match 50 suggests that, but it still doesn't make sense in the Tom universe because it's revealing he's a soldier. So.
How would Bagan even be aware that he's filled with King Hedorah DNA?
What did they brief him on this?
I think...
Yeah, they had a sit-down meeting.
No, you see, he turned in a DNA test to see who his parents were, and apparently he got Ghidorah as one of them.
Yeah.
Even though Ghidorah is apparently his child, according to Tom.
I also like how it's going off the game. It's Heisei King Ghidorah.
Yeah, supposedly.
So his memory should just be standing on an island for 5 decades straight.
Oh.
And being hit by a nuke and fused together.
Yeah.
Someone do that with Bagan in a match. Have him remember being Dorat.
That'd be hilarious.
There's one time where I was a disgusting Dorat.
He remembers being a Dora. Here's a better idea. He remembers being a Dora and being a Godzilla-saurus.
Yeah. That was unironically a match idea I had.
There's two abominations at once.
Oh, right. Nagoda, you're up.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, Bagan was too angry to care at the moment. He wanted to destroy Hedorah. He had to act quickly. He could sense that a storm was coming. Killing Hedorah in the rain would be even harder. Bagan's fist generated energy shields. He can do that.
I mean, he has a barrier that he uses by raising his hands up, so... But we just don't see it.
Wait. I forgot. I used that in my match. Anyways, Bagan charged forward. Hedorah fired his eye lasers only to have Bagan block it with his fist. Hedorah blinked. He fired a whole barrage of the beams, but most of them were blocked by Bagan's fists. the energy shields completely neutralizing the bolts. A few that found the mark stung Bagan, but he kept coming. Hedorah panicked as Bagan got near him. He shot a volley of his sludgy flesh, but Bagan ignored the pain. He had been humiliated. He stunk. He felt like one giant bruise. His armor fell off, and the acid was slowing down his regeneration. Bagan was not having a good day.
Just one vine booms between each of those.
Stinky.
Bagan stopped using his shield. He was going to need all the energy for this attack. He slammed his claw down and cut Hedorah right in half. When he reformed, Bagan swung his body to the side and delivered a sluggish, clumsy, but powerful kick. It was like watching a large, burly man kick a teenager as Hedorah was standing like.
It was like, what?
A large, burly man kick a teenager.
Is Living Corpse okay?
No.
Why does he know what that is? Or not what that is, how that would be.
No. Anyways, Hedorah got up, only to have Bagan grab him by the tail, slamming him into the ground several times. After that, Bagan spun around as fast as he could and let go, letting Hedorah crash to the ground. Bagan charged again, this time hacking and slashing him as fast as he could. Bagan ignored the pain of his arms being eaten away. After a while, the arm that had chopped Hedorah in half before fell off. Now nothing but bone. Bagan resumed clawing him with his other arm. Hedorah didn't understand the ferocity of Bagan's attack. That is, until he saw Bagan approach him. Hedorah realized he was smaller now. He had lost large amounts of himself from being clawed and thrown. Bagan's diamond storm rained down on all of the city, drying out all the missing parts of Hedorah. I don't know about all the missing parts.
Somehow not killing Hedorah itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like Hedorah would not shrug off being cut in half at all.
Wait, hold on. Wait. So you're telling me that he has a Diamond Storm prep. Did he use it? I thought he used it because it mentioned like a crater a hole he fell into because of the Diamond Storm. Okay, yeah.
Maybe he had
another one?
Yeah, I think he did another one, but it never
Or the fact that there was hundreds of thousands of them in the air and they've just been floating in the sky.
I think so, yeah. Oh, wow. Wow, okay, that was poorly conveyed. Oh my goodness.
It just means Bagan was more prepared than KaijuX was for this match. The smog monster was about to fire a beam when Bagan punched out his eye and responded in kind by firing his plasma breath. White-hot energy burned into Hedorah. The combined attacks were too much. Hedorah turned into his flying form and tried to fly away, only to be shot down by Bagan. Pass.
Hedorah, you're up.
Hedorah changed back into his final form. He was too weak to fly, almost completely dried out. Hedorah's movements were now slow as he attempted to make his way back into the sea. Bagan remembered that piece that had fallen into the puddle before. He knew Hedorah would heal if he got back into the sea. He limped his way towards the sea and cut him off. Bagan fired his plasma beam while Hedorah responded by firing a beam from his last remaining eye. The two beams clashed, pushing back and forth. Bagan was too weak to win this beam war. He summoned his Diamond Storm. The area once again filled with explosions. Many of them hit both monsters. One diamond fell right where the beams were locked, causing a massive explosion. Bagan fell into the cold waters of the bay. Another memory flashed in his mind. Another harbor, like this. Was this Godzilla's memory? Bagan closed his eyes as he sank to the bottom. Hedorah was dead. For the moment. Several hours passed before it finally rained, resurrecting the smog monster.
No.
He got up and scanned the area. Bagan wasn't there anymore. Hedorah promised himself that if they were to ever meet again, he would defeat his foe. Until then, both would settle for a draw.
That
Draw.
should be a victory
Bagan
for
was-
Bagan.
Yeah, what?
What is this?
Dude, Hedora's just like a dried up lump, but he's still able to match Bagan.
A dried up eyeball and still was able to beat Crash with Bagan. What is this?
I think Living Corpse was just like too devoted to like being subversive.
Probably. Probably. Oh my gosh. Oh Lord. Yeah, no, this feels returning to this now, it feels very this feels like a weird step down compared to 165. Like I think it's just like super this is just kind of like a super bare bones kind of like just regular match. Like even I can't even say regular in a positive sense. It's just kind of there. It's just like, oh, here's this thing. Here's this one gimmick of Hedorah's acidity being the only thing that can counter a post-56 bagging. Oh, Lord. And then there are just some details that feel like were either skipped or not emphasized enough. Like, oh, it's like, okay, I didn't realize that hundreds of thousands of diamond storms just hung up in the sky. That's a cool image. And it's like, okay, he could summon them whenever he wants. I don't mind, like, that idea. But it's also just kind of like that was never emphasized enough throughout the match to make it any kind of concern. Like this,
Yeah, it kind of just happens.
yeah,
Yeah.
Explosions.
yeah. It's like
I think also that's something you would need to like set up because in the game it's just like three.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind like hundreds of thousands or whatever because I know that's just been the precedent set. So it's just like whatever. I'm not picky about the number. I'm picky about the how it was all handled. And I think this kind of handles a lot of it pretty poorly. And it's just, especially that last beam, it was like, there was nothing to set up that Hedorah, aside from the natural toxicity of Hedorah's beam, which was like, okay, that's fine. Like, you know, all those parts were fine, but nothing of Hedorah ever reached the point of like, oh yeah, no, Hedorah can beam clash with Bagan. I'm like, what?
I don't care how weak Bagan is.
Right. That's just, I'm like, are you kidding me? You gotta be kidding me. Oh yeah, and remember, Hedorah was dead for the moment. Like, do you not know what dead means? Oh my gosh. Oh lordy. Yeah, no, this is rough. This is freaking rough. And even this one suffers from like a lot of name repetition too. There's like not enough like varied descriptors to indicate what monsters what. It is just all kind of like Hedorah Bagan. Wow. It's like it may not have been as insane as the previous one, but this one has it pretty bad as well. It's like, jeez Louise. But yeah, freaking, oh my gosh. Yeah, no, this one's golly, revisiting this is gonna feel painful. Or it feels painful.
Can't wait to revisit this again.
Oh, Lordy. Oh. But yeah, GBR, what'd you think of it?
I thought that the Bagan had been humiliated. He stunk. He felt like one giant bruise.
Hashtag relatable.
His day is ruined.
There was vomit on the sweater already.
Mom spaghetti.
Match was okay. It's cool to see like Hedorah treated as a threat, but I feel like it's just a bit too much here.
Yeah.
And not even just because like he's fighting Bagan, but just like the way he's written is just so like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
Yeah, the action's fine. Nothing like too special. Nothing to write home about.
Mm-hmm.
Banner is awesome though.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely want to. It's like even if the banner isn't completely accurate to the actual match, it's like it's still awesome. It's like you got this like the skyline of Shanghai, you got the monsters sort of like as a nice centerpiece, the nice big, and you even get the bonus of flying Hedorah, which even though there weren't two Hedorahs per se, it was like you know what, it's still in the match. I'll forgive it.
Yeah.
It also like balances out the image with the tower to the left. So it's just like you got something here and then you got something there. So it's like, yeah, no, I think it balances out. This is still like, yeah, a surprisingly really solid, really good banner from Tyler. So I would say its banner's definitely more the highlight than the actual match, or at least for me.
Yeah.
So, Joe, what'd you think of it?
I thought that was okay. I used to like this match when I first read it,
Oh,
and like looking back on it, it's like it had some interesting ideas with Bagan getting memories of Ghidorah and Godzilla, but they feel really half-baked. Like there could have been more, but they just don't. It just doesn't feel like it would have. Shut the fuck up, GBR.
What? I didn't do anything.
I'm talking.
I didn't do anything.
yeah, I think you might have been moving around or something.
The origin of Bagan is made out of Bagan and Ghidorah cells.
yeah.
I wasn't doing anything.
You were making noises. It was distracting.
GBR, why are you masturbating on the podcast?
Oh gosh. Alex, no, I'm gonna be demonetized.
These videos get 10 views.
All right.
I think if this was written now, these ideas would have been explored better.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if this match was remade now, it would be like really good.
If it was remade now, it'd probably get rejected.
Yeah.
The banner.
I mean, if you send it in now, we reject it because we already have it up.
Yeah.
That'd be plagiarism.
Oh yeah.
Deep plagiarism. Would a remake of a match be possible to do?
I know there's like the HD version which could update it a bit, but like as far as like a full-fledged remake goes, that's an interesting question. I think
Just make a round 2 and follow a similar plot.
Yeah,
right, that's what I was about to say.
Like
I
a
was
round
thinking
2 and go on.
No, go ahead.
Oh, like a round 2, but like it's also a remake.
Right.
I was gonna say a perfect example of a possible remake would be the Fallout match, where the second half focuses on different things, like I've mentioned before, Orga and Bagan fighting over the body. Orga eats Bagan's heart.
Oh yeah.
I think that'd be a more plausible way for the good guys to win, instead of Bagan just going telling the gals, okay, only attack when I tell you.
Right.
Instead of the two fighting over control.
Oh, right. Or something like, I think the best way to properly remake something is to basically, yeah, I think a round 2 would basically be the best way. Like blank versus blank round 2, here's how, is in a way I could see as like a here's how I would have done it sort of thing. I think
we should remake Bagan versus everyone, but Bagan is a hillbilly, and like we follow his childhood for the first half of the match.
I mean, I'd unironically enjoy that. Bagan smells Hedorah and says, you smell like the inside of my mama's purse.
Oh my gosh. All right.
I was making a Rob Zombie's Halloween reference.
Oh, okay.
So Bagan's parents just curse at each other the whole time.
Yes.
It's Godzilla. It's Godzilla and King Hedorah being assholes to each other.
Continue, Joe, as you were saying.
Oh, I was pretty much done.
Okay, you're pretty much done. All right. Nagoto, what'd you think of it?
Short. Hedorah took a lot of damage. And apparently there was it was supposed to be supposedly red skies, but no, it's nighttime in the banner. Banner is okay. I like how there's a flying Hedorah about to dive on Bagan in the back.
Ooh.
Other than that, it's okay. The match itself it's short but a bit fun. Also, Hedorah gets clawed a lot, surprisingly.
Surprisingly, the monster with claws uses his claws.
But doesn't Bagan
Also
have like the
surprising.
electric claws? Why didn't he use those?
Exactly.
He did not feel like it.
He's Christian Zakov in a nervous sweat.
No, you see, he couldn't use his electric claws because he forgot about them because of his Ghidorah cells. Didn't have them apparently.
Oh,
Those were from his Godzilla cells. You see,
Yeah.
His Ghidorah cells gave him dementia.
his Ghidorah cells gave him energy fist barriers, but he doesn't have his Godzilla cells, which gives him electric hands for some reason. So there you go.
the Goda solved it. There we go. Oh. Alex wasn't here for the reading for this one. Ditto, what'd you think of the match?
Fuck you too.
Well, the good thing about being last is that everyone's more or less said pretty much what's needed to be said. Like, I think GBR and you said Diamond Storm wasn't all that, like, emphasized. It kind of just happens. Yeah, Hedorah's really not overpowered, but it's just beefed up matchup Bagan, which I don't think is stated to be any weaker. It's just, I don't think it's, it doesn't look like it's, unless I missed it.
I'd say inferred. It's a post 56 match, and he got weakened after losing his souls. It was like, yeah, it's inferred.
But
It's inferred.
still,
But this is also the same guy who had Hedorah beat Burning Godzilla, so it's like, you gotta ask.
okay, the power scaling, I see. Who scales where?
Well, you see Hedorah's star level because he scales to Showa Godzilla, who scales to Showa Ghidorah, who's above any Garoga weapon.
Yeah. There was some parts where it's like, how does Bagan know this? Like remembering, is this King Ghidorah's memory? Is this Godzilla? Like, I don't know if you're that smart, Bagan. Let's take it back a notch.
For having an IQ of 250, he sure didn't. How did he seem to know things that only the reader should rightfully know? Like,
he just automatically knows what to do against Hedorah.
Yeah.
And he knows, like, which memory is a part of the genetics. And it's like, I don't think he'd be that smart.
Right?
But, the banner's good. I like it. It's very nice. Because this is in Shanghai. So I like how the city, you got, like, all the lights and stuff. The sky's not red. That's going to have to dock a point off of that. Just kidding. But I would say the only thing about it is just maybe have some of the lights reflecting off of the monsters. Like maybe add a little bit of purple and red, to like a Hedorah or Bagan.
Yeah.
Because you kind of have it at the bottom of Bagan's tail with like the fire or whatever that is, because Bagan's claws are glowing if you look closely.
Oh yeah, you're totally right.
Or I would say that maybe zoom in on the monsters just a little bit more, because it is kind of like a wide, like,
Right.
I'd say just zoom in on the monsters a little bit more, and that's pretty much it. It's a good banner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's more or less it. I'd say the match is just all right. Yeah.
Well, and I guess since Alex is here, although you did not read the match, do you have any recollections with this one, or feelings to it, or whatever?
Ooh. No, not really.
Okay. Alright. And yeah, I think with that said, this has been match 166, and we'll see you guys next time for the next match. Until then, everyone, take care.